Hello, Leon. Welcome.
I'm actually on my wife's phone right now.
Come
Okay,
on,
good.
wife.
Hey,
Come on, wifey. That's how we
yes.
do it.
He who finds a wife finds a good thing.
You better talk to Jesus. Okay.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to AAPT, American Academy of Physical Therapy Bridge Conversations. I'm Dr. Tamia Crawford, and
I am Dr. Kanasha Grady.
and so we are here. We have someone special. We will introduce him very soon, but I wanted to just kind of start with what the bridge conversations are. So the last episode, we spoke about the history and the impact and legacy of AAPT. And so this episode, we want to continue that conversation of legacy, but bridging that conversation into legacy, but how can we move that legacy forward?
Mhm.
And the person that we have here, I'm going to let Dr. Kanasha go ahead and introduce him. Well, we can wait until he comes back.
Give him a moment. That'll be good, though.
There he is. There he
Put
is.
the devil in the moment.
Okay.
All right. So I am one of the membership co-chairs, and I'm just going to let you guys know that I'll be monitoring the comments throughout the live. We're going to pause at least twice just to answer some of your audience questions. Okay. So before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and give you the short bio for Mr. Anderson here. So Leon Anderson III is a physical therapist, entrepreneur, and healthcare executive with more than 35 years of experience in clinical practice, leadership, and innovation. A Cleveland native, Leon earned his degrees from the Ohio State University, the University of Connecticut, and the Ola Grimsey Institute, where he specialized in orthopedic manual therapy. He is the founder and president of Sports and Spine Physical Therapy Incorporated, a multi-site private practice serving outpatient, corporate, hospital, school, skilled nursing, and federal healthcare programs. He's a charter member of the American Academy of Physical Therapy, or AAPT. Leon has served in numerous executive leadership roles and is passionate about advancing the profession through mentorship, innovation, and strategic leadership. He also served as a subject matter expert for the APTA Orthopedic Clinical Specialist examination and as an on-site reviewer for CAPT. Leon is committed to helping build a stronger, more sustainable future for AAPT and the physical therapy profession through collaboration, servant leadership, and financial stewardship. So welcome, Leon. Go ahead and invite, all of our viewers to understand who you are from your words.
Thank you very much. Yes, I've been in PT for 36 years. I am a second generation PT, occupational inheritance at its best. My father was Leon Anderson Jr., who was the 16th person on how to be licensed as a physical therapist. He was a vanguard of our profession, did so many things nationally and internationally. In fact, at the headquarters of the American Physical Therapy Association, there is a room when you walk into the headquarters. It's a beautiful two-story foyer, and the boardroom above is called the Leon Anderson Jr. and Dr. Linda D. Woodruff Black Heritage Room. And bottom line is, I grew up in the profession. I grew up all around all the giants in physical therapy, especially African Americans. And I am ready to share whatever you guys want. What think you think I can share and be helpful and beneficial?
Awesome, awesome. And both of those are founders of AAPT. Just want to throw them out there, Dr. Linda Woodruff and Mr. Leon Anderson, the second. So I just want to just ask, what are your earliest memories of AAPT? I want the good, like the fun and the professional. Like I want,
Well, mainly, so as a kid, I would always sit around with the elders, and in the APTA there was a group called BITS, Blacks Interested in Physical Therapy. There was a group called CHARM. I can't remember the acronym
Mhm.
exactly, but basically they would sit around and have all these powwows and brain trusts to figure out what was needed for our community within the larger community in physical therapy. And it turned out that we need to do our own thing. That's just the bottom line. And so in 1989, I think it was 65 therapists and two PT students. I was one, and so was Dr. Donna Swindoll. It's Dr. Greenhoward now. But we were both PT students at the time. So we're charter membered as actual PT students. And I tell you, it was just something else to see all those people in that room. You've got the giants like Vilma Evans, B.B. Clemens, Linda Woodruff, Robert Babbs, Beatrice Williams, Diane Adams, Ray Blakely. There's so many. I know I missed a lot, but they were just giants and in our field, and they were program directors. but the energy in the room to develop something that was for us and by us was just amazing. And as a kid, it was just, I mean, I would just run around, and I was just a little knucklehead, getting all type of mischievous things. And they would always try to corral me. But the AAPT conferences were just a lot of fun, and we got a lot done.
Hmm.
Bottom line, we got a lot done.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me some of this is kind of tell me some of those first things when you say you got a lot done. Like, tell me some of those first things. And did you realize at that age, like when you were younger, how significant being in the room with those giants were? Like being in the room, even your dad. Like, did you realize how significant his impact was at the time?
Not really. I mean, I grew up in a family where we didn't really talk a whole lot about the the '60s and all the oppression. Everything was on the positive.
Hmm.
So although I understood everything, and my grandmother was like a Rosa Parks almost in North Carolina, I understood the struggle and everything. It wasn't really emphasized on us. But when you sat there and you saw them going through the parliamentary procedure, you saw them putting committees together and developing 5 and 10 year strategies. It was overwhelming as a first year physical therapy student at University of Connecticut.
Hmm.
When did you recognize that AAPT was more than just another professional organization?
Basically right from the beginning, because the AAPT is kind of like a family. The current president, Rob Tillman, he was one of my mentors even before he was in the AAPT. And bottom line is, we are a family. And when family members need family members, you do what you have to do to take care of them. Whether that means taking money out of your pocket to make sure that they can eat in school, or making sure that they're being mentored by the right people, making sure that they are getting the resources, that they need, and more importantly, getting treated the way they need to be treated. Because there are times when you would have PTs come to the APT, and they were having a issue with maybe their state board. And so those of us who have any kind of experience in that, we're able to help and guide them and get them through those challenges and very difficult times.
I
That's
love
all.
what you were saying about the family. Speaking of that family, what are some of those values from your father that have stayed with you throughout your career?
I would say first and foremost is integrity. So my dad had a different way of describing integrity for me, and that was, Leon, do what you have to do when you have to do it, and do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. That was key. Another thing was critically thinking. He said that the bottom line is, you have to be able to critically think if you're going to be able to move forward in life, not just in physical therapy, but in life in general. Also, he said, think before you speak and think before you act, because you can't take those things back. There's
Hmm.
no question about it. He was really, really big on service, although let me see, he mentored, probably hundreds of students. Dr. Linda Woodruff being one of them. She mentored thousands of students. And
Yeah.
I'm one of those students that she mentored. And, you know, uh, as a result, in my clinic, we've been around 23 years, but I've had over 1,000 students come through my clinic, you know, at this time. But, the bottom line is, be of service and
Mm,
give. And I have an APT pin on right now, but I usually
I
wear,
need a pen.
I, I got,
Yeah, I was gonna say we
I,
can get you a pen now. I gotta get my
I, I,
pen.
I normally wear a little eyeglass pin all the time. That's directly from my father, because he's taught me that, there are different perspectives, and everyone doesn't see through your glasses or your goggle. And you got to take that to account so you can meet people where they are. So those are the things, when I think about values, I think about my dad, those are the things that he instilled in me.
That's
Love
awesome.
that we're all wearing glasses right now. We are
Right.
blind, but we have corrective lenses. Come on. So we're going to take a moment to go ahead and check in with our audience. So this was all for us, by us, as Leon was saying. So in this time, we want to invite some of our students and even just our audience members in general. Share your thoughts on what's resonated with you so far, and any questions you may have for Leon.
And while they're doing that, I just wanted to add, like, Leon was one of the first people I met at the AAPT conference. I believe I was a student. I can't even remember. I was definitely a student. I was a student.
Yeah.
And Rob is also my mentor. So that legacy just continues to just kind of step down and just continue to give. And that service just continues to flow through, all the way to me graduating in 2018 as well. So, and I just want to continue that forward, through, having these conversations and mentoring, people and everything. So we don't have any questions as of now, but we have plenty. So we can ask away. So just was I know this, but I don't know if anybody else know this. Was becoming a physical therapist always the plan?
No, not really. Believe it or not, so growing up, I loved animals. I wanted to be an entomologist. I wanted to be a veterinarian. So I went to Ohio State,
You better
as
get it right. Come on.
a veterinary medicine major, and then I realized that I hadn't had an animal since I had discovered girls. So I immediately switched over, and my mother said, "You know what? Computer science is kind of hot. So what do you think about that?" So I believe it or not, I received a degree in management information systems and computer
Mhm,
science at Ohio State. However, in my third year, I was performing I was like a transportation aide for my dad at one of his clinics. It was a mentally and physically challenged facility
mhm,
on the west side of Cleveland, and I fell in love with patient care. And that was my junior year, and I said to myself, I know I want to be a physical therapist, but I wasn't going to throw away 3 years of my PT school. I mean, of my
mhm,
um, degree at Ohio State in business. So
mhm,
I decided that I would go ahead and just finish out my career at Ohio State. I started taking electives, and I started taking, like, instead of taking mineralogy and genealogy or basket weaving, I was taking physics and chemistry and all these.
mhm,
And as it turned out, I had a higher aptitude for physical therapy than I did for computer science. So I ended up getting an academic scholarship to
mm.
University of Connecticut because my parents said they weren't paying for another school. So that's pretty much how it happened.
And this is a throw in, but how were you able, because I'm a biology major. So in your words, how were you able to use kind of what you did get your major in? How were you able to use that in physical therapy, like with computer science background and just with also that background?
Well, since my father had his own practice, then it was we were right on the cusp of the PCs. PCs came out in around 1985 and 89. You guys weren't even born then, but
You don't know that. You don't know that.
You're right, but
but so what I did was I ended up networking his computers and teaching the staff all about technology and how it can be used properly in healthcare. And so it really worked out well because we didn't have to spend any money, barely at all, when it came to preparing our practice for the technological advances that were coming through society.
His son had a degree. His son had a degree in that. So
yeah, facts. Yeah, no, that's awesome. That is so awesome. How long did your dad own a clinic before? How long was he running the clinic?
Now, this is amazing because we sit back and think about this. My father started his clinic when I was in high school in 1982, and we
Mhm.
sold it to Health South in 1997. So really, that was only was it 1997? No, 98 actually. So it's only 16 years, and I've owned my clinic for 23 years. It's hard to believe because he was such a giant in the field. But yeah, that's all he owned. He had contracts with nursing homes, school systems, hospitals, all kind of facilities, MMRD facilities in and around the area.
That's awesome.
I love that. So you've practiced for more than 20 years. What has changed the most in physical therapy and what's remained the same?
Let's see. The human body obviously has remained the same,
Mhm.
and my degree in manual therapy from the Old Grimsley Institute has just been phenomenal. I think that because of the ability to synthesize information and to apply it correctly in physical therapy, that's not going to change. So I always encourage everybody to make sure that you get together your reasoning and your decision tree and make sure that it's going to work for you in your career, no matter what discipline you decide to go into. Also, the emotional components of pain, they're still the same. They're the same thing 30 years ago, as they are now. You got to make sure that you can critically think Also, I think that work ethic is also the same. You got to show up. You got to be prepared. You got to be ready. You got to be responsible. You got to pay attention to detail. What's changed? Reimbursement. Reimbursement has changed tremendously. When I first came out, you basically could just submit your claim to the insurance company and they paid you. That's it. You know, if your insurance claim, if your LB or your claim was $150, they paid you $150, no questions. Now that's totally different. Now you have all the show me through the hoops. And I would say that the PTs that I actually manage right now, when they come out of school, they're almost equally versed in how to jump through the hoops for the insurance company as they are in the clinical world, which I think is a disservice to our clinical education. The insurance companies don't need to be running, you know, our businesses. But I'd also say technology. Technology has changed tremendously. Whether it's group chats, we have group chats through our company. Different locations have their own group chats. Then we have a normal group chat through everybody,
Mhm.
and so we're getting information to each other, the clinicians and our aides and our front desk in real time. Let's see. Patients have changed. They are definitely more informed now because they have Google.
Mhm.
And if you are a clinician who really knows their stuff, you should want the patients to go to Google and to
Hmm.
come in informed, because the more informed they are, usually the better they're going to adhere to their home exercise program, because they're going to know actually what's wrong with them. But those are the main things that I would say have changed and stayed the same.
Awesome, awesome. So we know you're a clinic owner, and I just want to know, like, for you, how has leadership evolved for you over the years? And this can be in the clinic, and this can also be with AAPT. Like, how has that evolved for you over the years?
Let's see. Old school, you could just show up, be a strong clinician, evaluate, treat well, and build relationships, and your clinic was going to grow and things are going to work. There's no question about it. Nowadays, it's a little bit different. To me, if you want to run your own practice, you have to love or like, at least like business, or hire somebody who's going to like business or love business, because it's tough. It's very tough to do both. You can quickly burn out, but you have to understand systems management. You also have to understand financial oversight. You got to know your clinic's actual metrics. For me, one thing that's huge, which I don't necessarily know was huge when my father and his colleagues are coming about, but having a team and building a team and actually maintaining a corporate culture. Our corporate culture is huge. For example, we have a rule that you can't leave our clinic or any of our clinics unless you give everybody in the clinic a 10-minute or 15-minute warning what you're going to leave. And the reason why is because if you leave and someone needed something from you, then they're pretty much out of luck. And usually when the clinician's out of luck about something, a patient's out of luck about something. And that's not what we want. So if someone is getting ready to leave and they have to go pick up their son or their daughter, and you need something, you're not inclined to say, hey, hold up, can you go grab so and so for me? But they're trying to leave and go see their daughter. However,
Mhm.
no one really works hard those last 10 minutes of the day anyway. So
Yeah,
so
so that's
so if
beautiful.
so if they say I'm leaving in 10 minutes, I need you to do this and the other, they're gladly to do it because they're just cleaning their desk up. Anyways, that's one of many things that we have in our corporate culture. If you come in late to our clinic, we used to have people that used to be tardy. We ended that by just saying, if you come in late, what you have to do is go around to every individual in the clinic and apologize sincerely about being late. And then more importantly, ask if they were inconvenienced.
Yeah.
Because if you're not doing your job, that means I'm going to be doing your job, which means I can't do my job. And what happens?
Hmm.
A patient probably ends up losing. It's all patient centered.
Yes.
Patient.
Hmm. Hmm. That's so
Yes.
cultural, though. That reminds me of, like, like what our culture is. When we step into the room, we have to say hello to everyone. We have to make that connection. It's very hard for me to be around people and we lock eyes and I don't say hello or I don't show my respect. And it's
Yes.
it's ingrained because I would get in trouble. You better say hello to your aunt. But it's funny to see you take that to a whole nother level professionally.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. I had to tell a kid that the other day, one of my players, I'm like, when you come into this car, you say hello now. What are you doing?
I
All
love that.
right.
Okay. AAPT's annual conference has been the cornerstone for the academy for decades. So, what has been some of the things that you had mean the most to you professionally and personally when you're attending?
I would say the most important thing for me, and this was probably would go for anyone young who's looking to come into the organization, is
Hmm.
that you get exposure. You're exposed to different treatment philosophies. You're exposed to clinical reasoning models. You can broaden your horizons. I mean, at our conferences, we have top-notch presenters. Jennifer Green does an amazing job with rehab. Rob Tillman might be speaking about manual therapy, but we have top-notch people. And going back to that little lapel pin glasses that I don't have on right now, perspective is key too. If you go to come to an AAPT conference, early in your career, you might think, I'm treating practice the right way. I already know what I'm doing. And you really don't know. You come in contact with clinicians who are 20, 30, 40 years in, and then you get an opportunity to see that there's more than one way to skin a cat. There may be different treatment philosophies, or at least different treatment reasonings that can change what you think and how you think, because you can look at a person that comes in with a back problem. I'll keep it really simple, just maybe a disc problem. An inversion table may help them. One of the modalities may help them, or they can go to aquatic therapy. It may not just be that they need manual therapy, which is what I would say. But to be honest with you, people get better in different ways, and sometimes there's an emotional component. If you don't attack the emotional component, they're taking care of an elderly person or a loved one, but they don't want to feel bad about it. It might manifest it in their body, and they just have to come to deal with the fact that, I'm not a bad person if I can't take care of a loved one, and it won't manifest in some illness. So I
Yes.
would say, finally, I'd say access. You get access to people who you probably wouldn't meet, thought leaders, experts, academic professors, just there's, I mean, business leaders, people who own, multiple clinics, and you never know. You can get a professional relationship out of there. You might end up with a job. You might end up with a position at an academic university. Hopefully, you'll get at the very least mentorship, because I would
Hmm.
believe the networking and mentorship is probably the biggest thing that comes out of these conferences, because we get an
Hmm.
opportunity to talk and to be authentic to one another.
Yes. And
Yep.
you may have kind of touched on some of those points that I had in my follow-up question, but if you hadn't, why would you encourage students and early clinicians to attend and become involved?
Yeah, basically that's it. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would say get involved for those reasons, because you don't know what you don't know, and you want to network.
Or work.
Because the bottom line is that we're in information society, and you need the information. And not only do we have the information, we're more than willing to share it.
Yeah. Yep. And I want to add to it, just to give just a little bit more detail to that. That was what happened to me. I was a student. I had never met Rob Tillman, and I was able to, he came to our class and spoke. And so then at the conference, that's when I was able to actually like introduce myself. And then I ended up getting a clinical rotation with him. And then I ended up getting my first position with him. And so then I get to learn under someone who, is a pioneer in the manual therapy world, but also he owns his own business. So now I get to learn and sit next to him, while he's running his private practice, and get to see that firsthand. And so it is that is the biggest thing for me. The very first conference attending, like being there on that Friday night or Thursday night when we get to just talk as a community and just
Hmm.
be able to just, what do you feel? What do you need to get out off your chest? What do you need to vent about? What do what it's just you don't see that often, and you don't get to that experience with other physical therapists that look just like you and have similar experiences as you. And I just wanted to add to that. Like I feel that and doing it with people who are like owners of businesses, not just like, your peers that you came through with. So,
Yes.
Yeah, you're
if
talking about the round. You're talking about the Thursday night roundtable, which is
yes, the round
always,
table.
yes, they're
Yes,
always
yes,
bringing real world ideas, things that can actually help people to that Thursday night.
yes,
It's always a blast.
yes,
Yeah, I'm
yes,
excited for that. I'm excited for that because
yes,
I'm on the side of the early career clinician that'll just be coming for the first time. And so for me, it's like, oh, top notch people speaking, but they also look like me. And then having that family aspect that you were saying, like it's too much to not want to tell other people about it.
yes, yes. And then it's roundtables throughout the like throughout dinner, throughout breakfast, like you just, it's just a constant throughout the weekend. You're just talking to people, and I just, it's my favorite. I wanted to throw that out there. I did want to pause again to let anybody who is on, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, anything that you want to add, this will be the time to add that. But we'll continue just so we're not on too long. If we don't have anything, okay. Okay. If your father, this is kind of some legacy questions. If your father was entering physical therapy today, in this very moment, 2026, what do you think he'd focus on?
Let's see. If he were entering this day, he would probably continue to focus on administration. He was a huge administration guy. Administration, making sure that operationally things were working properly, and also focus on opportunity, making sure that the powers that be, no matter what the professional organization is, has the right amount of opportunity for all those who are physical therapists to be very, very inclusive. Because if you don't have the opportunity, I mean, if you can't get up to the plate, how can you can't hit a home run if you can't get up to the plate? So you have to just have the opportunity to get up to the plate. So I think that's what he would by far and away focus on.
What are some opportunities that exist today that didn't exist when you began in your career?
First and foremost was direct access. When I came through, we didn't get direct access until about 23 years ago. Actually, we got direct access the same year that I opened my clinics. And that means direct access to the public. So you did not require to have a doctor's referral in order to come to be a physical therapist. And we had so many years of being on Capitol Hill and going to our state legislator and letting them know that the military has had direct access for I don't know how long. What's the difference in the military and the regular the public? We're all humans. We're all United States citizens. So direct access to me is huge. And they said that it would cost more money for the system if we had direct access, and it's proven to be the exact opposite. It's actually cost the system less. So I would say that's one thing. Also, you have a lot of niche practices now. People have dance, sports, pelvic floor, neurological, vestibular. Got a lot of cash-based clinics now. We're hybrids, partially cash-based,
Eve.
partially hybrids. You have people who participate in federal programs. I used to have a military until last year, until the administration changed. I had a military contract with the Air Force where we took care of the special forces of the 118th Air Support Operations Squadron, where we made sure that the special forces were combat ready, at all times. And when they did get banged up, we took care of them. Had the administration not changed, I think we would probably still have that particular contract. But you've got telehealth. Telehealth has changed everything, tremendously. I would say that I have a lot of my proteges and previous students. I remember I went with some of my fraternity brothers to a basketball game in DC a couple years ago, and the PT for the Cavaliers, these are all guys from Cleveland, the PT from Cavaliers and the PT from the Wizards were both students of mine. So they were able to come, so they came out and everything. Amazing. Then even right now, the PT for the Baltimore Ravens, he's one of us. You got the PT for Usher and Chris Brown for their tour. She's a protege of mine, and she worked for me up until a month ago, until she got this opportunity. I mean, so
This is perfect. That's perfect. Because speaking on your students, what are some of the things as a clinic owner that your students do during their clinicals that you really appreciate, or are common mistakes that you hope that they avoided, so that you can mention them as your protege?
The main thing is to just listen. Is to listen and not think you know everything. Because when you come out of PT school, you're ready to do everything. But without the experience of knowing what to do, the key is to get the experience. And part of getting the experience is listening to those who are around you. And then, you have to make up your own decision tree and decide what it is that you're actually going to do when it comes to your own clinical decisions. But hone your craft. Hone your craft. If it's critical thinking, then make sure that you are a critical thinker and can apply it appropriately.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for that. And also, what advice would you give a new grad clinician, or actually anybody who is aspiring to be a clinic owner?
So I've had over the years many young men and women come to me and say they want to be a clinic owner. And when they sit next to me and they see what I'm doing, sometimes they, will say, you know what, I don't know if I want to work 12 hours or what have you. So
Yes.
because I have a business degree, which is my first degree in computer science and my business degree, I actually like management. I like looking at the numbers. I like the metrics. I enjoy I enjoy the business side. If you're a clinician and you enjoy being a clinician and you don't necessarily know if you are going to enjoy the business side, then I would sit next to someone like me or like Robert or anybody who's been in the business for maybe 3, 4, 5 years and get a clue as to what it is that we do that's outside just clinical care, because you want to be able to enjoy yourself. And, you know, to make a lot of money and be miserable doesn't make sense, so know what you want. If you don't enjoy it, then hire somebody that you trust. Make sure you trust them, because I know people who hire their own people and end up in lawsuits. But you want to hire somebody who you trust, who can do those things. With AI coming on now, I think that there are a lot of things that you can do as a clinic owner where you don't necessarily have to hand them off to somebody else, like bookkeeping, and different things. But the biggest thing is, if you want to be a business owner, clinic owner, know what you're getting into. Know that you're going to have to know your numbers. You're going to have to know the financial responsibility. You have to understand, if you're going to go get a loan, how do you have to talk to the bankers? Who are your stakeholders? There's so many different things that go into operating a clinic. You have to make sure that you're in the right location, that you have the right equipment, that you have the right hours. I mean, there's so many things that go into it, just besides just showing up, doing the evaluation, and getting people better.
Hmm.
What would you say separates a clinician from someone who simply practices and like the leaders?
Uh, let's see. Someone who leads, to me, it's all about being consistent and being able to set your own standards. When you set your own standards, you don't have to look up to anybody else's. That's one of the things that my dad taught me too. When you set your own
Mhm,
standards, don't live to anybody else's. That's
mhm.
that's the key. So leaders, to me, set standards and they're consistent with them. And it's not just about treating the patients; it's about standardization and systems.
Okay. How can students and young professionals begin building their own legacy now instead of waiting until later in their careers?
Hmm, let's see.
Baffled him with that one, so he's like, hold on.
I would say that you wait. Ask me the question one more time.
How can students and young professionals begin building their own legacy now instead of waiting until later in their careers? Because you see pioneers come a little bit, older, as you've already, established in the clinic and, or whatever the case may be. But how can someone fresh out of school or someone who has been practicing a little bit, just like myself, honestly, kind of newer, and Dr. Kanasha here, how can we start to kind of build that legacy now as opposed to waiting until later?
Well, I would say take ownership of your environment that you're currently in and innovate. Don't
Hmm.
rely on protocols. Don't
That's
rely
right.
on AI. Develop your own clinical reasoning early.
Hmm.
Have integrity. Do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Invest in relationships, business, and in relationships. People that they're going to do business with you or become a stakeholder or collaborate with. They do business with people who they know, who they like, and who they trust. So that's extremely important. And then I would say maybe seek opportunities to lead yourself and also become a follower and a mentor. At the end of the day, legacy is not about or is not built at the end of the day or at the end of your career. It's about a daily habit and making the proper choices and set your own standards.
Come on.
That's
Speaking
awesome.
of that legacy, what do you hope AAPT looks like over the next 10 years?
Let's see. I think it needs to be an organization where young minds can learn how to enter the organization, our organization specifically, and our profession, and also learn how to. We can teach them how to navigate the profession early on, like yourself, because there are tips and tricks to the trade, and majority of us already have those. Okay, um, I would say. We should continue to have conferences, like I mentioned before, with Jennifer and Rob, with top-notch educators. But the big thing is we need new energy. We need new perspectives. We need different ways to integrate technology, communication, patient engagement. Those things I think are really key. When it comes to looking at the next 5 to 10 years, and we need funding. So we need to make sure that those who have those funding inroads, bring those talents with them also. Exactly.
What role should students and the young professionals play in shaping that future?
I think that the bottom line is that they need to continue to communicate with one another. That's the bottom line is communication and constant communication. Kind of like the things that we're doing right now. Shouldn't stop here. Maybe this should be a monthly activity. Maybe it should be a bi-monthly activity. But I think that is huge. It's communicate, and then stay true to your word.
Yes. And then what legacy, hold on, let's see. As a student, we'll answer this question first. As a student, she's going into her last year of DPT school. What is some advice you would give to build more confidence in her craft, especially being in the room full of non-people of color? That's a really good question.
Uh, I would say so. When I was in PT school, I was University of Connecticut, and I was the only black male PT in the entire state at that time. So I think there were three programs, but the most important thing is having the confidence. What brought me confidence was knowing my stuff. So I need to make sure that I knew the material and I knew it backwards, and forwards, and not necessarily leaning on the acceptance of others to know my stuff. So if you know what you're doing, you should hopefully have the confidence to move in any arena with anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I would add to that what we've been talking about, having conversations with other older clinicians, with people who have been in the field for a long time. Because one of my professors told me, she was like, it took her 5 years for her to get really like, but that's because she was a pelvic health therapist, and that's when she started pelvic health therapy. And so it was just like a water hose in the beginning, but it took her some time to really get, comfortable and confident. So talking to her gave me peace of like, okay, well, I'm just 1 year in. So it's okay for you to not have it all together in the first year. But one thing you can have together is knowing your stuff, knowing the things that graduate from school with, and knowing, and then if you so choose, because I did go into pelvic health as well, if you so choose to go into a specific area and a specific learn as much as you possibly can in that area. Go find. I sought out people. I went into clinics, and my clinic didn't have it, so I went into other clinics to get more exposure and to have more conversations with other clinicians who have done that. So, yep, don't fall to imposter syndrome. Thank you. Like you're here, you did it, you're in there, you're in school. I was the only black woman in my entire program, so you're there and you're supposed to be there. So yeah, you just gotta walk in the room with your head held high. You are supposed to be there. So
And
got knocked off. Hold
oh,
on.
and get out of school. Do what you have to do to get out of school, and then get to one of the
Yes.
AAPT conferences, because
Yes.
we're ready. We're ready to hug you and enjoy you, and and,
Yes.
and take care of you and help lead you.
Yes, I don't know where Kanasha went, but I just wanted to add that the conference is in September, and we are there. The registration is open. I was trying to put a link in here, but I cannot figure out a way to do it. So there it is. But I don't know if you can click on it. But it's special. It's something that's very special. Every time I go, I learn something. I meet somebody new, and I'm just glad that we just get to do this. And I just want to ask you one last question. What legacy do you hope to leave for the profession? Like, what is it that you hope that people can get from you specifically?
For me specifically, because I'm one of those guys that I want to make sure that I leave the profession better than when I entered it. It's the bottom line. Can I leave clinicians who know how to synthesize information and apply it and execute at a high level, and also communicate that? Because at the end of the day, legacy is not about recognition for me. It's about who did I leave in place, and are they doing what they're supposed to be doing to carry it on.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love that. I absolutely love that. So I can't get Kanasha back on, but I'm gonna go ahead and end it. If you have any more questions, let us know. before we get off, but I want to say thank you, Leon. I mean, you're so special and integral to AAPT, and I'm so glad that we got to have this conversation. And we're going to continue this conversation next Sunday. We have one of Leon's mentees. He'll be on with us, Ron Weathers. He'll be on, and I think it'll be a really special conversation, really good conversation. Just continuing that legacy, continuing, standing on the shoulders of those that came before us. So we want to just, keep this conversation going. And thank you so much for your perspective. And I hope you have a great week.
My pleasure. Anytime.
Absolutely. All right, guys. See y'all later. This will be uploaded so you can go back and listen.
Oh, we had to get that in. Huh?
Right. Oh, and Kanasha probably says bye too, guys. She can't. There she is. We couldn't get her back in, but let me see if this will work. Yeah, it didn't work, but good day. Have a good day. Have a good week, y'all. It won't be every Sunday, but we'll post it on AAPT of when the next one will be. Oh, there you go. I was saying
It's
you can
not
say
real if
it.
we don't have technical difficulties.
I
It's
was
not
I was
real.
trying to keep talking until you can get back on and say goodbye if you need to.
All right, y'all. Well, we appreciate you guys for joining us, and we'll hope you'll continue to engage with us. There's going to be another one coming up, as she has already stated. And the biggest thing is trying to make sure that we understand joining and then being at that conference.
Yes, participating so that we can
Come
continue this
on.
on, pour into students, mentor students, have the same conversations, get more people involved, and just understanding, learning from people who have been in this profession for over 30 years. I think that's the huge thing, because they've done it, and then we don't have to reinvent the wheel. They've done it. So yeah, so hope to see you guys there, but we'll be on next Sunday, guys. All right, good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.